Last week, the United States announced the deployment of 3 warships and roughly 4,500 troops, including more than 2,000 Marines, to waters off Venezuela's coast. Washington stated this was part of an operation targeting drug cartels. However, the move sparked alarm in Caracas, where many fear it could be a prelude to a full-scale invasion. In response, Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro urged citizens to join civilian militias and ordered the deployment of 15,000 troops along the Colombia-Venezuela border. These developments have revived concerns about whether the US, under Donald Trump's leadership, might seriously consider military action against the country. Speculation about a US invasion of Venezuela is not new. As early as 2017, when Venezuela was mired in political and economic crisis, Trump reportedly raised the idea in closed-door meetings. At the time, Maduro's government had cracked down on the opposition and announced plans to rewrite the constitution, effectively allowing him to remain in power indefinitely. According to reports, Trump suggested the possibility of an invasion, but was dissuaded by advisors like H.R. McMaster, who warned it could destabilize the region and alienate US allies. Despite this, Trump later stated publicly that he was not ruling out a military option against Venezuela. Instead of military action, the Trump administration pursued a strategy of maximum pressure. This included severe economic sanctions on Venezuela's oil sector, a $15 million bounty for information leading to Maduro's arrest, and refusal to recognize Maduro as the legitimate president, backing opposition leader Juan Guaido instead. While these measures inflicted economic pain, they failed to dislodge Maduro. By 2020, Trump escalated his rhetoric, telling Fox News that if the US acted militarily, it would not be a small operation, but involve a full-scale army. Former officials later revealed that Trump's interest in Venezuela went beyond rhetoric. John Bolton, his former national security advisor, claimed Trump once described invading Venezuela as cool, and even suggested that the country was really part of the United States. Reports also surfaced that Trump explored invasion scenarios with leaders in Argentina and Colombia. In 2019, Argentina's then President Mauricio Macri allegedly discussed supporting a US-led force, while Colombia's former President Iván Duque was approached about using Colombian territory as a staging ground. Underlying US interest is Venezuela's vast natural wealth. The country possesses the largest proven oil reserves in the world, yet chronic mismanagement, sanctions, and the technical difficulties of refining Venezuela's heavy crude have crippled production. At the same time, Venezuela's crisis has driven one of the largest migration waves in modern history. An estimated 8 million people, around 1/4 of the population, have fled the country in the past decade, with many heading toward the US. Trump and his allies frequently blamed Maduro's rule for this mass exodus. Relations between Washington and Caracas briefly appeared to thaw in mid-2025 after a prisoner swap and the US granting Chevron permission to restart oil production in Venezuela. But the calm was short-lived. In August, the US increased the bounty on Maduro to $50 million, accusing him of leading the Cartel of the Suns, a criminal network Washington designated as a terrorist group. Maduro retaliated by mocking the US announcement and daring Trump to arrest him. Shortly after, the Pentagon announced the deployment of warships and troops to the Caribbean. Venezuela responded with its own military mobilization and consultations with Colombia's defense ministry, heightening fears of confrontation. Despite the tough talk and military maneuvers, a full-scale invasion is highly improbable. Experts note that while 4,500 troops sound significant, Venezuela's size and population, nearly 30 million people, would make an invasion vastly more complex. For comparison, the 1983 invasion of Grenada involved 7,000 US troops, while the 1989 invasion of Panama required 30,000 troops, many already stationed nearby. In contrast, the Council on Foreign Relations estimated in 2018 that a successful intervention in Venezuela would demand at least 100,000 US troops and likely result in disaster. Limited strikes are also unlikely, since it is unclear what strategic goals they would accomplish. Analysts suggest the current deployments are more symbolic than practical, serving both Trump and Maduro's political agendas by rallying domestic support. While the specter of US military action looms large, the reality is that a Venezuelan invasion remains highly unlikely. The risks, costs, and potential fallout far outweigh any perceived benefits. For now, the situation looks more like posturing and political theater than preparation for war. Still, with tens of thousands of troops mobilized on both sides, the region remains volatile, and the possibility of miscalculation cannot be ruled out.